two people come together and they partner, right? And I have to know you and you have to know me. I have to know your strengths and you have to know my strengths. And then we have to collaborate, and then we have to know our context and know what we want to accomplish. And really, that's what we want to do with the land. We want to know the land and know what it wants to accomplish, and then we want to partner with it and help it do that.
So it's no longer 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 6, or 8, or 10. You know, you can take one seed and it'll multiply 100 times. Nature is amazing, and it can multiply that work many, many, many times if we just let it.
I'm Dylan Niswanger.
I'm John Niswanger.
And we're Grace Forward Farms. So Grace Forward Farms is on the surface we farm, but really it's a connection between the farm and the person.
What we want to do is we want to restore the land using the biology. It starts at the bottom with the bacteria, the fungi, the protozoa, nematodes, kind of going back to the soil food web. We are wanting to create those cycles on the land to heal the land, rebuild the carbon, rebuild the soil itself, and put life back into it. I would rather wake up today with the attitude of what can we grow today, rather than the traditional attitude of what can I kill today, or what do I have to kill today. And it really is a change in mindset and paradigm. What we were trying to do is restore that biology, restore that food web, fix the soil, restores the plants feed the animals feed the humans. So it's all the way to the top, and it all starts with the soil.
When I was a kid, we would do these projects like building compost or building compost extract or doing rotational grazing. And I remember thinking, why do we do this stuff? Why don't we just farm? After college, got into social work, started working with people, doing ministry type things. I then began to see, as I listened to my dad talk about why he did this stuff, why he implemented the science, I realized that the science is what is the foundation of the land, and then that's the foundation for our food. I realized while I was trying to restore humans, maybe through ministry or social work, there was a part to be played by the land and by the food we eat, and that there was a ministry there. And I think that was the beginning of Grace Forward Farms, was the connection between the science and the desire to grace people with what they need. Our operation is based right on the edge of the Colorado-Kansas border. And we're finding that there are people who want good food, and they want to know where their food's coming from. We would love to be able to take all these practices that we're doing that produce good food. We'd love to be able to take that food and actually give it to the person who wants that food, who desires it.
We are trying to mimic nature. There's a successional order. God has designed this planet with certain natural laws. And when we fight those laws, it becomes our job then to replace any of the organisms or any of the things that have been removed. We have to work to replace that. For example, the nitrogen cycle. We've broken that nitrogen cycle, therefore we have to go put that on ourselves. Decomposition, if we break that cycle, don't have those organisms out there because they've either been destroyed either through tillage or with chemicals, then we have to go do that ourselves. We have to stay within certain natural laws. Otherwise, eventually we will run into pestilence and disease and many of the things that we see in the world today, that weren't there 20 years ago. And we need to realize why those things are there.
I think what's really cool is you'll take a microscope, or you'll take somebody out there and you'll find something that's missing from the land or from the soil, and then you'll go find that nutrient or that mineral somewhere else on the land, and then you will reproduce it and you'll put it on the land to satisfy that missing nutrient. Kind of like we would, take a supplement or implement exercise. It's like you're finding the thing that it needs and you're giving it to it naturally, instead of forcing it to change.
One of the paths we've gone down here recently is we will find the things on our land, our natural, whether they're rocks or minerals or iron, different things. We put that into our compost to propagate the microorganisms that naturally break those down, so that when they're put out on the land, they can release that for our plants.
Our name is Grace Forward Farms, and grace is a gift of freedom. And so what we would like to do is we'd like to grace the land with what it needs in order for it to thrive. And by doing that, we can directly grace our body with what it needs for it to thrive. And then ultimately you're gracing a community of people.
I was convicted a couple years ago that it's all getting blended together. We don't keep anything separate. It all goes into a food system. It's all concentrated and processed many, many times before it actually reaches the person. And it's blended so much that, if we were producing something great and good, we would see it in our health and our population. And when you look at trends, that's not the way we're going. Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." And that was brought to me many, many times in 1 week. And I realized that's what we need to start doing.
So many of the health issues that we have right now in our Western culture is due to the food we eat and the lack of nutrition in it. That's why we have to eat more food, because we don't get the nutrition we need. And if the nutrition was there, we wouldn't have to eat so much of it. And it just compounds on itself, because you eat something that's not good for you, and it pushes that dopamine button, and then it doesn't have any nutrition, so you're not getting the nutrition, and it pushes the dopamine button, and so you just keep eating it. There's a reason why our country is unhealthy.
We've seen a lot of that stuff removed in places where people have changed their diet. Food can be used as medicine. Yeah, it has for hundreds of years, thousands of years. Education is another big goal of our business. We do want to educate people on their health and what they need for their health. And then we also want to produce that product that can help make them healthier, and maybe solve some of these health issues that some people are having. So those are two main ones. And then the third goal would be then to ministry to our community. I would like to see, create a model that is successful and healthy and economically viable, so that young people can come back to the farm, buy a small acreage, and live happily and produce this food. I feel like the closer you are to the land, the better and higher quality the food that you produce is. Healthy people are happy people. And that value, when you're actually giving it directly to the customer, you can see the value of that food in that customer's life. And you feel purpose. It gives you a purpose. We would like to be able to make something that is profitable enough that we have abundance.
But it's all part of restoring humans. Teaching someone something like God has created the land a lot like He's created people. Like everything is just God's character and personality just shows up in the land, in the animal, and in the person, in the way the things are connected. You say all the time that everything's connected. And so I think part of discipleship is giving people food that ministers to their body. Grass-fed beef has omega-3s, is rich in omega-3s, and grain-fed beef is rich in omega-6s. And omega-6s are linked to inflammation, and omega-3s are linked to anti-inflammatory.
But the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s is much, much lower. It's almost 1-to-1. In some grass-fed beef, it's less than 1-to-1. The omega-3s can be higher, but in most cases, it's 1-to-1 to 1-to-2, where in grain-fed, you will see that more of a 1-to-4, 1-to-6, as high as 1-to-12. But that last 30 to 60 days, the amount of variety if they were on nice green stuff with the sunlight, where it's photosynthesizing and all that, why, that was by far the healthiest. They had the biggest range of everything and the highest numbers, and that was by far the healthiest. So management matters no matter what the system is. And it's kind of mimicking the system of when the buffalo came across. They came across in large herds, ate all that down, and then they moved on. And then that thing was allowed to regrow and heal and fix itself. And the grasses come back thicker and taller and healthier because they just got applied all the biology, all the manure and nutrients they need, and the urine, and it's all just recycled. And we have been doing that for about more than 10 years, started probably in 11 and 12. The grasses have changed. We've gone from 1 or 2, 3 species of grass to, I don't know, 15, 20, I mean, a lot. And we've seen plants out there and grass species that we've never seen before, but apparently they were here because we didn't plant any of them. The more diversity we get in that animal's diet, the more diversity of minerals and nutrients that is passed on to us, the healthier those animals are. We don't apply porons anymore. We now see dung beetles out there, so we have the nutrient cycling going there where they're depositing the dung back into the ground, to grow the grass. The best improvement in our soil has come in our native pastures since we've done the amp grazing or the rotational grazing.
We talk about an abundance mindset for people. It creates an abundance mindset for the cow, but it also trains the cow to depend on you each day. I think it mimics the way the Father cares for us. Each day they're ready to go and they eat the food they need for that day, and then they're ready the next day. I think it creates a joy for the cow, actually, to do it that way instead of, and again, I'm not knocking on anything, but if you just give them so much land or a pasture, they have as much time as they need to consume that. And not only that, they're only going to eat what they like. Like, they're not going to eat everything that they need.
That starts to build soil. And we start to see our black layer in that soil go from 2 inches down to 6 to 2 to some places as deep as 24 inches, 24 inches, almost 2 feet of nice, solid, aggregated soil, and that holds moisture. It's 3 to 3.5% organic matter. So we can hold 3 times as much moisture as we could at 1.5% where we started.
2 people come together and they partner, right? And I have to know you and you have to know me. I have to know your strengths and you have to know my strengths. And then we have to collaborate, and then we have to know our context and know what we want to accomplish. And really, that's what we want to do with the land. We want to know the land and know what it wants to accomplish, and then we want to partner with it and help it do that.
So it's no longer 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 6 or 8 or 10. You can take one seed and it'll multiply 100 times. Nature is amazing, and it can multiply that work many, many, many times if we just let it.
I think our goal is really, we just want to prove that there is an easier way. And one of the ways we got to do that is we have to start getting the food in the consumer's hands as the producer.
You can taste the difference. The flavor is what's going to sell it. Nobody cares whether it's healthy or not. If it tastes better, they're going to go that way.
So I think the next thing we're moving toward right now is developing more plots of land. In fact, we would love to see more people move on to the land. So we're putting up greenhouses right now. We're starting to plant trees. We're doing a lot of things that will benefit the land long term.
Yeah, so in the greenhouses, we plan on producing produce and food for people that we can take directly to the people. It'll be kind of stage 2. The first one is the meat, which we produce already. So now finding those customers and marketing that directly. And then the next step would probably be the produce. I'd like to create kind of an education center and start educating people about what we're doing, acquiring land and making it available to young producers. There's a homesteading movement that's really starting to get legs and take form. And I would like to see people coming out to our community and coming out to the country and creating a little area where they're producing their own food and sharing that food with the community.
We're looking to partner with businesses that are affiliated with people who desire better food.
Partnering with people who already have those customers who are health conscious,
Yeah.
and you are partnering with doctors or physicians or health practitioners that already believe in food as medicine and want to use that in healing people and healing some of the nutritional deficiencies that are in our population.
So if someone were to reach out right now, we would love to just figure out with someone how we can get our food into their hands, whether that's by delivery, whether that's by a local location, or partnering with farmers markets. These are other ways that individuals can find us, and that's in Western Kansas. So Garden City, Lakin, Wichita County, Oakley. Those are the locations in which we're planted. The best way to reach us would be www.graceforwardfarms.com, and our phone number and email will be on our website.